Hello YouTubers. Well, first of all, the title isn't using the well tried and popular method of getting views to one's videos by a catchy title. It comes from a letter from a young man in Thailand who is a schoolboy. I believe he's age 15, but that's not relevant. He is the editor or producer of a school newspaper, and he has asked Geriatric if he will answer some questions to pose in his newspaper. And I'm reading his question. His question says, teenagers more regularly have contact with drugs and alcohol. Despite laws preventing this, do you believe that it is entirely up to them to make their own choices, or should their parents have the final say? What would you advise to those that do enjoy experimenting with drugs and consuming alcohol at this age? Well, first of all, I wouldn't advise anybody. I think before you could give advice to anybody, you would have to know that individual person very well, and the circumstances of their life. But of course I can put forward opinions, which is what I would propose to do, and I suppose this could be a very short video, because in answer to the first question, is it their own choice? Well, yes, of course it is, but I think one would have to consider the age and how much information they had about the choices they were making. But I cannot believe that in this day and age, with so much things that happen, and everybody can see the dangers of getting involved with drugs of any category, even the lower category, C category drugs. So a very quick answer is that yes, it is your choice. The question about should the parents have the final say, well, again, in a way that sounds a bit strange, but one would have to take into account the society in which they live, and maybe in the Far East there are more controls by authority over everybody possibly, and certainly young people, and of course as parents, whilst I don't think they could have the final say, it would be their duty that they, if they realised that any of their children were experimenting with drugs, that they would do all that they could to dissuade them from what I think would be a very silly practice. But I think I would rather like to throw the questions back, instead of getting into a long discussion about it, at the teenagers. And one of my questions back to them would be, do you want to be out of control of your own actions, behaviour, and out of your mind? Do you want to disappoint your parents by bad behaviour? Do you think that you will lose friends by not being one of the in crowd and not being regarded as cool? If so, do you think that these people are really true friends? Do you believe that despite all the evidence that you will be the only person who will not get addicted? And, well, I could go on and on, but do you think that if you should be taken before either the law or even your school authorities, that they would accept, even listen to possibly, a plea in mitigation that I didn't know? And so that would be my answer to his questions, and I would throw it back, really. I don't think I can really develop it any further, but possibly from your comments you may have other opinions, and if so, I mean, please feel free to state them. But the very simple answer to the original question is that since the age of 10 years old, you've been regarded as the Lord to be somebody who knows the difference between right and wrong and can be held to account for that. Then what you do is your own choice, but I think you must consider your actions very carefully in light of the consequences of them. So here ended the lesson, I suppose. Anyway, I hope I'll see you all again very soon, but it might be a slightly longer period because in the next 2 weeks I've got lots of things happening to me in the things I do in the outside world, outside YouTube, and whilst they're very exciting, they're also very frightening, and I'll either come out of it looking a complete idiot, or I'll be proud of myself for being able to have done what it is I'm going to be asked to do. But whichever way it turns out, it will be a very tiring business, and so I need some recovery time. So after all that has happened, I'm sure I'll see you again, and until then I'll have to click this little button and say, as usual, goodbye.